Okay, so holding on to them would probably be a way better idea.
Make yourself feel better the next time gold jumps another $100 or $200. You won't feel as bad.
Those are effectively quarter-ounce coins.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, quarter ounces.
A little bit more expensive.
Yeah, next time you buy, you call Robbie so he can explain to you what you're buying.
Yeah, hey, Bob, I'm going to embarrass Robbie here a little bit. Man, he was giving us stuff away last week.
We did.
Yeah,
we were caught.
Yeah.
I mean, last week was the most insane week in the gold market.
It was.
One day gold was up $30, the next day it was down $30, next day it was up $30. And because we don't make those sort of premiums on the coins, I mean, it's the profit can disappear in a heartbeat.
Oh, and it ended up and did.
And it did.
Yeah.
I mean, we basically sold last week's special was sold at cost.
Yeah. So, folks, why do you want to deal with Robbie? Because he's an honest guy, and because the reason I started RTG was to give the people out there the mostest for the leastest. Okay, that's your money. You're cashing those FRNs in and buying something that's real and you know is going to go up. Stephen, did we answer your question, sir?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, people last week got a great deal.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, there's a couple of bills that are going to go unpaid this week. Thank you very much. No.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, that stuff happens, folks. And what the fastest way to do this is to, and Robbie, there's a few little hints here. What we've got to do, you want to buy gold, okay, we're advertising. We got the price on it today. You got to lock it in because we can't take your order. Oh, I heard you on the air the other day, 4 days ago, and expect to get it at that quoted price. Now, you may get lucky. It might have dropped a few bucks, but don't bet on it. It's going to keep going up. So the point is to make that turnaround so we can lock it in at that price as soon as humanly possible. Bank wires are very good. They're not that complicated. You need some help with that. Go down to your bank. Just ask one of those fine banking people and I call it the fractional reserve. I got chewed out for using that. I've been using it for 15 years. It's actually fractional reserve banking, but I always call it fractionalized because that's what it is, fractionalized. But at any rate, the fastest way to get it over is to wire the money. If you send us a check, we have to hold it for several days, and then we can turn that over.
Explain to them why we've got to hold it for several days, because the banks are changing the rules of the game in the middle of the game, just like the government is.
And if you think about it, guys, why are they doing that? Well, because that's your money, and they get to hold on to it. It's an asset to them.
And let me also add one thing you won't hear from this host, that I bought gold at $800, so I'm passing the savings on to you.
Yeah, I've heard that little ploy used before, and evidently to some success. Folks, we're not here to flim-flam you, lie to you, sell you the sizzle. We're just trying to put the stake in your hands for the least possible price. We'll continue with your calls after this break. Mr. Robert Chapman of the International Forecaster, Robbie Noel of The Flip Side, and yours truly, John Statmiller. Stay there. We'll be right back. You paying attention yet, folks? Got your tally cards out? Trillions of dollars out of the Treasury. Jobs are going to be created. Happy times are here again. Still waiting? Keep waiting. I as I said earlier, gentlemen, I just cannot believe how fast these little fascists, these little socialists are moving. Unbelievable. The GIVE Act, there's another one. I love the names for these bills. And this is, volunteerism isn't good enough. We're going to have mandated public service. Now, if that's not Orwellville for you enough, I don't know what it is. But folks, I'm almost in disbelief myself, and this is my job to cover this stuff.
It's like the Free Choice Act.
Yeah, right. Yeah, which means you have no choice. Yeah, right. Mike in New York. Hello, Mike.
Hey, John.
Hi.
Robbie Bob. John,
yeah.
John, I can start off with good news for you.
And that being, soccer is dead forever, right?
The soccer season is over.
Ah, good. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But now we have rugby.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, and talking about sports, I'd like to commend Robbie on his pick for the Belmont Stakes. If he could pick stocks the same way as horses, we'd all be rich.
Yeah, but Mike, ask him if he put any money on it.
Yeah, I lost my ass.
So there you have it.
Well, I had him to win.
Well, I get Rachel Alexandra.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had a $20 exacta, and one way only, and which was a winner, and I had $100 on that young maiden.
Beautiful. Oh, Bob, did you bet on Barcelona, by the way?
I didn't bet on it, but
that paid off
one of my favorite teams.
That paid off good.
Why do I feel like a bookie house here all of a sudden?
Well, it's part of the sport, you know.
Oh, I see.
Everything's gambling.
Incidentally, wait a minute.
True.
I gotta tell him this. One of our subscribers got the Golden Boot last year in the Bundesliga.
Okay.
His name is Luca Toni.
Okay.
Plays for Bayern.
Oh, that's great.
München.
That's great. Yeah.
And he's sending me a couple of jerseys from
great.
the team.
Really?
That's fantastic. I mean, they're a great team.
You know, it's amazing how many people read your newsletter. Bob, there's heads of state that read your newsletter. We got rugby people. We've got heads of state. You know, an entire mix, the entire gamut.
My main question was going to be to Bob, and this is regarding the increase in price of the basic, minerals like copper and stuff like that. Is it true in your view, Bob, that this is because China is stockpiling these metals based on the fact that they're getting rid of their dollars?
Well, I think that's a good part of it. And I also think that all of the commodities got way oversold. Yeah. And looking at the market from an overall long-term perspective, it was understandable, like copper went from 135 to 220, and that's exactly what I predicted in the forecaster.
Yeah, because
I expected it to go back to 180.90, fill in, and then perhaps make another move. Well, it never went back and filled in. Yeah. It's off and running again. It was up 10 cents or so today.
Exactly.
And what's the next stop? 320.
Yeah, the likes of BHP Billiton and Freeport McMoran are really, racing ahead. And just the other day...
they've done very well. They doubled.
Yeah, exactly. And just the other day, I think the Chinese attempted to buy a big stake in Rio Tinto, I think it was, but they got rebuffed. So...
Yeah, well, that's the royal family owns about 45% of that.
Exactly. That, tends to lend credence to the point of view that they are, in fact, stockpiling these base metals.
Well, somebody... yeah, go ahead, Robbie.
No, well, I mean, today as well, coming out of the Hard Asset Conference in Canada, Silvercorp, which was the Chinese silver mine, is attempting a not-so-friendly takeover of Klondex. Do you know about that one, Bob?
No, I hadn't heard that.
What do you think about Silvercorp? I mean, the reason they want to buy Klondex, and they were interviewing the CEO, he says it's much safer doing business in America than it is in China.
Really?
Yeah.
They must be in worse shape then, right?
Well, I mean, it was a $25 stock that you can pick up for $3 right now.
Here's the question. Somebody asked this question the other day. The United States government owns better than 60% of GM stock. We owe the Chinese trillions of dollars. Hummer was just sold to them outright. I don't know how many Chinese rice pickers over there are going to be driving Hummers, especially with the price of gas going up. But here's the question. Are the Chinese going to end up owning GM? Because they've told you, the politicians here in this country have told you, that, oh, no, it's the people that are really now the stockholders. The United States government, no, it's the reflection of the people. You really own that stock. But wait a minute here. I personally, and Robbie didn't, or, Bob didn't, personally take charge of getting us trillions of dollars into the hole with the Chinese. So here's the question. In the future, is GM going to be owned by the Chinese? Think about it. This is not a giant leap of faith here. It's just natural progression of debt owed. I'm here to collect. What do you got for me? Mike, hang on a second. Gary, Vince, we'll get to you right after the bottom of the hour break here. 800-313-9443.